Today I'm going to be talking about residential schools since Truth and Reconciliation is September 30th here in Canada. What were residential schools? They were government-funded schools that were ran by the churches. And what was the purpose of the residential schools? The purpose was to convert Indigenous youth and to assimilate them into Canadian society. They wanted to get rid of our culture, everything, anything native. More than 150,000 children attended residential schools. You know that number is like way higher than that, though. The first school to ever open was the Mohawk Institute in Brantford, Ontario, accepted its first boarding students in 1831. There's a picture of some students attending the schools. And as you can see what some of the survivors have said here in this article. There are many different accounts of sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse. Could you imagine people come take your kids and they do this to them? And this person here visited Kamloops many, many times, which was a residential school, and there were 215 unmarked graves that were found. There are many different graves that have been found that nobody's talking about. Here's, this is Blue Quills Indian Residential School in St. Paul. Here's another picture of children. They were forced to pray anytime they spoke their language or, for anything really. Even being children, they would get hurt, punished in very brutal ways. There was a lot of child labor that was going on as well. They worked. A lot of people don't know this, but these children worked, and it was supposed to be good for them. It was supposed to help them when they left the schools, but of course it never did. These children were taken from their homes and forced to live in these places that were run by people who didn't have any empathy or compassion at all, or morals, to say the least. This is the timeline of events. Upon doing research today, I didn't even realize, how many more graves were found. I wrote them all down here on a piece of paper. Okay, so I wrote some stuff down. Okay, 215 graves were found at Kamloops. 33 in Caracross. 751 at Cowes First Nations. 160 at Penelogut. That's how you would pronounce it in my language. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. 2,000 were found at Star Blanket First Nation. They were searching for 171 at Wansewik. 66 were discovered at Williams Lake First Nation. 93 were discovered at English River First Nation. 182 were discovered at Little Red Brick School at Koodaideri First Nation. 600 were discovered at Mitreville. 715 at Cowes. And I'm sure there are more. I'm going to be doing some more research. That's a lot. That's a lot of children. Just on that one list alone, that's nearly 5,000 children at 12 different schools. And there were many, many, many schools in Canada. Like, that's insane. Like, all these things happen to these children, these schools, Indigenous children. And in my opinion, it's still going on today. But now they show up with CPS. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to that. And I'm going to say allegedly, and this is for entertainment purposes only and educational purposes only. So yeah. Please don't just wear a orange shirt on this day. Please try to do something in a community that's close to you or something, because this is crazy. Like, they're not speaking about this. It's up to us to pass along this information. It's very important that we know our history so that it never happens again, and we can help survivors from residential schools. Even someone my age, I'm 34 years of age, and I was in an Indian day school briefly when I was young. So the last one closed in 96. So this day, just remember all the children that this stuff has happened to. Thank you.